Hello everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started with our perspective, our linear perspective. If you refer back to the PowerPoint, we looked at Grand Theft Auto and how a game modeler can show space. And so there's many different ways that you can do that even without linear perspective, using like overlap, changing the size of things. So things that are closer tend to look bigger than things that are small. We all know that Mack truck is much bigger than this little Porsche, but because it's closer to us, it is perceived as being bigger. And then this idea that there's more detail in the foreground and less detail in the background. But then also we have things like linear perspective, where the window lines and the ceiling lines and the road lines all go back to a single vanishing point. And the atmosphere is more hazy in atmosphere perspective. For your vocabulary, you have this worksheet, and it goes along with the PowerPoint. So we're going to have a few vocabulary terms. First, we have our horizon. So in linear perspective, that is your eye level. So wherever that horizon line is, that is where your eye level is. And then you have vanishing points, and those have to be on the horizon. That's where all those diagonal lines go back to. We're going to practice 1 point perspective, where we have 1 point on the vanishing point. We have horizontal lines, which are your widths of your object, so they're like tops and bottoms. We have our heights, which are vertical, and then we have our diagonals, which go to our vanishing points. Almost all diagonal lines in perspective will go to a vanishing point. There's going to be a few things that we change, and we'll see that when we practice, when we do things like gabled roofs and so on. Those lines are diagonal, but they won't. But we'll use perspective to get that to happen. In 2 point perspective, we have 2 points on the horizon. This is where the corner of the box is going to be the thing that's closest to you. In 1 point perspective, you'll notice that the front of the box is the thing that's closest to you. So I use this gift box all the time. 1 point perspective, 2 point perspective, where we can see which part is closer to us. So we once again have height, which is how tall something is, and then we have diagonal lines. So they either go to the left or they go to the right. And then 3 point perspective, which we won't practice, is usually used for skyscrapers. This is where you have 2 points at your eye level on the horizon, and then you'll have another one. You can either have it above or below based on where your point of view is, and all the lines in this one are diagonal. So notice even the heights here go back to a vanishing point. So when it comes to that eye level, we have our normal eye level, but we also have bird's eye and worm's eye. So bird's eye view is where your horizon line in your eye level is above the object. That's where you're going to look like you're flying, right? Bird's eye, and you're going to look at above the top of it. And then with worm's eye, that's when you're below something. And so that works really well for skyscrapers. So we're going to go ahead and have you go step by step with the 1 point perspective. It's broken up into several videos, so take your time. Feel free to pause it and replay as many times as you need to.